Discover the incredible heartwarming stories of Greek mythology. 10 life-changing tales unveiled. In the heart of Maplewood, where the sun painted the sky with gentle hues of amber, a humble young woman named Lily rose every morning before dawn. Her small bakery, worn yet inviting, filled with the aroma of fresh-baked bread, was where the spirit of the town lived and breathed. Each loaf she kneaded and each cake she frosted carried the weight of her dreams, hopes, and resilience. With her mother's health fading like the colors of autumn leaves, Lily wore her love like armor, prepared to battle anything that threatened their world. Yet, a shadow loomed over Maplewood, the proposed closure of the beloved community center, a place that pulsed with life and laughter, where neighbors gathered to share stories and dreams. It felt like the heart of their town was at risk of being stolen by a businessman who saw only dollar signs and not the soul of the community. Lily often recalled her grandmother's tales of heroes from Greek mythology, rich with courage and sacrifice. Those stories sparked a fire inside her, urging her to stand firm, to fight for what was right. With each passing day, Lily's resolve grew, but so did the trepidation among townsfolk. As she served her customers, she saw the unease etched on their faces. Out of desperation, many considered the businessman's proposal a blessing, believing it would bring economic relief to their struggling town. But to Lily, this was a betrayal, a dishonor to the legacy they all shared. She felt the fissures forming among her friends, especially Sarah, whose views clashed with hers, igniting a tension that was hard to ignore. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The conflict boiled over at the town meeting where anxious faces packed the community center. Standing before her neighbors, her heart racing, Lily summoned the strength of the mythical heroes who faced trials with grace. She spoke passionately about reclaiming their legacy, igniting a spark of hope within the crowd, urging them to remember their shared values of kindness, unity, and neighborly love. But the room felt divided. Her passion was met with skepticism and old grievances began to surface. Swirling like leaves caught in a gust of wind as emotions erupted and voices clashed, Lily struggled to keep her composure. Just when it seemed her heartfelt plea was lost amidst the rising discord, the businessman's true motives began to unravel, each revelation dissecting the desperation that had clouded the town's judgment. Could Lily mend the fractures before it was too late? Not just for the community center, but for her friendship with Sarah? The weight of uncertainty was suffocating. Lily stood at the crossroads of her destiny, her heart pounding with hope, fear, and the pressing question of how far she would go to protect what mattered most. The tension in the community center crackled like static electricity in the air. Lily's throat felt tight as she glanced at Sarah, whose eyes were filled with doubt. A part of her wanted to reach out, to bridge the rift that seemed to widen with every passing moment. Instead, Lily took a deep breath, a familiar scent of fresh bread and vanilla wafting from her bakery momentarily calming her racing heart. It was a reminder of what she wanted to fight for: the warmth, the love, the memories that held the town together. Finally, a voice broke through the chaos. It was Mrs. Henderson, the town's beloved librarian. "We've always come together to support one another. How can we let greed tear us apart?" Her words hung in the air, urging others to consider what was truly at stake. Lily felt a ripple of solidarity among some of the townsfolk as nods began to spread. Hope flared within her once more. Maybe they could push back against the tide. But then, the businessman stepped forward, his voice smooth and persuasive, filled with empty promises of jobs and prosperity. "What are we really giving up? A rundown building?" He smirked, the crowd wavering under his charm. "Not just a building," Lily shouted, surprising herself with the force of her voice. "It's our history, our community. It's South, the place where we shed tears and celebrated victories." What do you really think our children will remember if we let this happen? Her heart hammered in her chest, and for a moment, silence enveloped them. Residents exchanged glances, uncertainty mixing with the flickering warmth of shared memories. Memories of laughter during festivals, of comforting hugs during tough times at the community center. Behind Lily, Sarah stood frozen, torn between loyalty to their friendship and newfound fear for future growth. Think, Lily continued, emboldened as she met the eyes of her neighbors. This isn't just a business deal. It's about our future, our kids' future. We can't let someone walk in and take what we've built together. A whisper ran through the crowd, a murmur of agreement igniting. A handful of people clapped, the sound sharp and bold against the silence. Sarah shifted behind her, uncertainty cracking the wall she had built. Lily, she began, her voice shaking. Please, Sarah, don't you see? Lily turned, desperation in her tone. We can't let this happen. I know there's fear, but can't we fight for what we love? Sarah tore her gaze away, looking at the ground, confusion and resolve battling within her. As the meeting continued, Lily attempted to rally her neighbors, gathering surprisingly strong support. Every pledge and promise felt like a small victory, a step towards saving their heart. Yet deep inside her, doubt churned. The fight was just beginning, but could she really change minds? When the meeting finally adjourned, the air was thick with lingering tension. Surrounded by remnants of the arguments, Lily felt both victorious and terrified. Her friendship with Sarah hung in the balance, as both women faced the weight of their choices. Walking home, her heart ached. In her quest to save the community center, could she also save her friendship? As she opened the bakery door, the familiar warmth enveloped her, yet it felt strangely lonely. She needed a plan, something bold to unite everyone. But what if she was too late? Tomorrow everything would change. The question remained, could she turn the tide before it was too late? The next morning, the sun peeked through the bakery's windows, casting soft golden rays over the countertops. Lily rubbed sleep from her eyes, but her mind was already racing. She couldn't shake the feeling that the previous night's meeting had been just the beginning. The doubts she had felt settled heavily in her chest like stones. She had ignited a flicker of hope, but would it be enough? As she kneaded dough, her hands worked automatically while her thoughts spiraled. She glanced around her bakery. The walls were adorned with framed photos of happy moments, birthday parties, warm smiles, and friends gathered around tables sharing more than just food. They shared love and laughter. Each image reaffirmed her conviction. This community center was a place where all of that magic and memory ignited. Her resolve solidified with each push of the dough. This wasn't just about saving a building. It was about protecting the very essence of their lives and future. Lily set the dough aside to rise and grabbed her notepad, filling pages with ideas. She scribbled suggestions for meetings, a fundraising bake sale, and even a community potluck to encourage people to come together and express their stories that had been forged in that very center. Lily, you okay? A familiar voice broke her concentration. It was Ben, her loyal helper with bright blue eyes and an easy smile that always seemed to chase away the shadows. He stepped into the kitchen, wiping flour from his hands on his apron. You seem distracted. I'm fine, she managed, forcing a smile. But the furrow in Ben's brow told her he wasn't convinced. Just thinking about the meeting. About Sarah? He guessed, leaning against the counter. You two are like peas in a pod. This can't be easy. The truth was, it felt unbearable. I need to find a way to help her see, Lily said quietly. This isn't just business. It's our lives. Ben nodded thoughtfully. Have you talked to her since? Maybe you can show her what the place means. Reignite some of those memories. It was a light bulb moment. Lily's heart raced. You might be on to something. I'll invite her to the potluck. She can bring her famous casserole. It might remind her of all those family gatherings we had. Ben smiled. That sounds perfect. People love nostalgia. While they worked side by side, they talked about the importance of bringing everyone back together, how they could reach out to others in the community. Ideas flowed, laughter filled the space, and for the first time that morning, Lily started to feel a sense of hope. By the time they closed the bakery for the day, they had a plan. A community appeal to show just how valuable their shared history was. As twilight cloaked the town in a gentle embrace, Lily felt a rush of adrenaline. But it was still there, her heart pumping with fear about whether her efforts could truly change anything, especially in light of Sarah's silent doubts. And then, as she prepared to make some phone calls, her thoughts flickered back to Sarah. What if inviting her to help, inviting her back into the fold wasn't enough? The doorbell chimed, pulling her from her thoughts. It was Sarah, looking hesitant but determined. "Can we talk?" Lily's heart raced. This could be the conversation that changed everything. But would it? As Sarah stepped inside, the air was thick with unsaid words, and Lily knew deep down they had to confront not only their fight for the community center, but the rift that had formed between them. A confrontation loomed, and she held her breath, waiting for the inevitable, a moment that would either fortify their bond or shatter it once and for all. Lily took a step back, allowing Sarah to cross the threshold. The familiar scent of bread mingled with the tension in the air. She watched as Sarah fidgeted, her gaze darting around the bakery like a startled bird. "Sure. Let us talk," Lily said softly, trying to calm the storm brewing inside her. They moved to the small table tucked in the corner, surrounded by the warmth of the oven still glowing. Sarah took a deep breath and searched for the right words. "I've been thinking about what you said about the potluck. It sounds nice, but I'm not sure if it can change anything." Lily felt the weight of those words. "I know it seems small, but it's more than just food. It's about bringing back the history, the community," she pleaded. "We need to show everyone what this place means to us." "Does it really matter, though? I mean, the town is changing. People are moving away, new businesses are taking over." Sarah's voice trailed off, filled with uncertainty. Lily leaned forward, her heart pounding. "But that's exactly why we can't give up. This bakery, this community center, it holds years of memories for so many. We can't just let it slip away." The silence between them thickened, echoing the past they shared. Memories of laughter, late-night baking sessions, and heartfelt secrets began to flow back like a gentle tide. Finally, Sarah looked up, her eyes glistening. "What if it doesn't work? What if we put ourselves out there and nothing happens? I can't bear the thought of failing again." Lily reached across the table, grasping Sarah's hand. "But what if it does work? What if we remind everyone what this place means? We have a chance to fight back, to show the strength of our community." Sarah's expression softened slightly, but doubt still lingered. I don't want to get hurt again. I've seen what happens when you hope too much." "I get that," Lily replied gently. "But the worst thing we can do is give up. We have to try, for us and for everyone who loves this place. It's worth the risk, don't you think?" A whisper of a smile appeared on Sarah's lips. "Maybe. It just seems so overwhelming. Then we tackle it together. I need you, Sarah. We can bring people in, share their stories. What about your casserole? Everyone misses it." "It could be the starting point," Lily suggested, her excitement bubbling over. Taking a moment, Sarah finally nodded, albeit hesitantly. "All right, I'll bring it." It felt like a crack had opened in the wall between them, a glimmer of movement in their friendship that both had longed for. But before Lily could breathe a full sigh of relief, Sarah's phone buzzed on the table, shattering the moment. "Sorry," Sarah said, glancing at the screen. Her face fell as she read the message. "It's about the community center. They're planning a meeting. Without us." "Without us?" Lily echoed, the ground feeling unsteady beneath her. "Yeah. I guess they're moving forward and they want to discuss next steps without input from the people who care," Sarah replied, her voice strained. Lily felt a fire ignite in her chest. "No, we can't let them make decisions about our future without us. We need to be at that meeting." As they locked eyes, an unspoken agreement settled between them. It wasn't just about the potluck anymore. It was about taking a stand for their home. But in the depths of her thoughts, a nagging worry remained. What if their voices didn't matter to the people making the decisions? That question lingered between them like a shadow. Determined, They gathered the resolve to fight, but doubts crept in, whispering that perhaps the struggle to reclaim their home would only deepen the divide. Lily pressed her lips together, contemplating their next move. Whatever came next was going to be a test of not only their strength but their friendship too. And as they left the bakery that night, uncertainty trailed behind them like a ghost. The deeper they delved into this fight, the more they uncovered not just about their community, but about each other. Would they sink or swim together in this rising tide? The answer felt just out of reach. Lily could barely sleep that night. She tossed and turned, the urgency of the meeting stealing her rest. The dark hours stretched on, mind racing with thoughts of the community center, the potluck, and the uncertain fate of their beloved bakery. Every tick of the clock felt like a countdown to something monumental. When dawn finally broke, her resolve surged back. She slipped out of bed and padded to the kitchen. The comforting smell of coffee brewing filled the air. As she sipped her first cup, she felt the warmth spread through her, a promise of the day ahead. Meanwhile, Sarah stood by her bedroom window, staring at the quiet street outside. Shadows of doubt crept back in. Did they have any real chance against the larger forces at play? Breathing deeply, she pushed the negativity aside. Today was a chance to take a stand. Despite their different mornings, they both arrived at the community center feeling a mixture of nerves and determination. The small building that had been the heart of their town loomed before them, a stark reminder of what was at stake. As they entered, they were met by the familiar faces of other townspeople. Some looked supportive, others curious, and a few appeared defensive, their arms crossed like a protective barrier. The meeting room was buzzing with hushed conversations, tension crackling in the air. Finding a seat together, Lily whispered, "Remember, this is about our voices. It's not just us anymore. It's everyone who cares about this place." "Right," Sarah replied, her heart racing. Lily's hand found Sarah's again as they scanned the room. Finally, the organizer, a man with slicked-back hair and a paper in hand, called for quiet. "Thank you all for being here. We appreciate your time as we discuss the coming changes and improvements to the community center." Lily felt her chest tighten as he spoke about planned renovations, new businesses moving in, and funding that didn't prioritize local voices. "Wait, this isn't what we want," she thought, looking at Sarah who stared ahead, brows furrowing with concern. "Before we dive into the financial aspects, I'd like to hear from you, the community," he continued, looking imprecisely at the crowd. "We have some great ideas coming, but your input is essential." Lily's eyes met Sarah's, and they both knew this was their moment. Adrenaline rushed through them. Suddenly, their hands were entwined tighter. "I think it's time," Sarah murmured. Lily nodded, her heart pounding, urging her to rise. She took a deep breath and stood. "Excuse me, we want to talk about the history of this place, the heart of this community." The murmur in the room quieted, attention shifting towards them. Some faces softened, while others looked weary, almost skeptical. With each word she spoke, Lily felt the flame inside her grow. "This bakery has been a gathering space, a place for our stories. We have an opportunity to celebrate that history rather than erase it." Sarah followed suit, speaking up with a renewed focus. "Not everyone in our town wants to change, to see it all just fade away. We can hold a potluck to share our memories and voices, reconnecting the threads that bind us together." An unexpected ripple of murmurs filled the room. It felt alive, charged with emotion, as if their words were pulling at the fabric of the community. But just as the tide seemed to shift, a voice cut through the moment. One of the newer members of the committee, arms crossed tighter than ever, stood up, a frown etched on their face. "That's all well and good, but this isn't about nostalgia. Times change. We have to focus on growth." The way he framed the discussion brought the past and future crashing together. An uneasy collision where hope thrived alongside fear. In that instant, Lily felt the collective heartbeat of everyone present: the struggle, the longing for connection, the fear of loss, but she also recognized something deeper, the potential for transformation. Would they let fear dictate their future? With those thoughts swirling, she turned to Sarah, who looked equally determined but unsure of what would come next. And as the meeting continued, both women wrestled with the question, could they really rally their community and spark change? The answer loomed ahead, uncertain but shimmering with promise. As the tension in the meeting room thickened, Lily's heart raced. She felt nervous energy crackling like static electricity in the air. The voice that had challenged their plea lingered, echoing uncertainty through the crowd. Sarah squeezed Lily's hand tighter. "We need to stay strong," she whispered, her eyes darting around at the faces of their neighbors. Some looked inspired, others uncertain. The balance of fear and hope shifted in the atmosphere. Lily stepped forward again, the weight of her commitment anchoring her. "Look," she said, her voice more assertive this time. "We're not asking to stop progress. We want to create a bridge between our history and the future. Our bakery isn't just a business, it's where we came together during hard times, where laughter echoed during celebrations. Those memories matter." A few nods flickered through the crowd, including from an elderly woman in the back. Her eyes glimmered with a hint of recognition. It fueled Lily's passion. "If we don't honor our roots, how can we grow? We need to build a community that includes everyone's voice, old and young." The organizer, watching silently, showed signs of shifting interest, perhaps realizing the implications of their words. But the man who had objected stood firm, crossing his arms tighter as if bracing against their resolve. "Really?" He leaned in, defiance in his tone. "You think a potluck is going to change the plans we've set, the investments we're looking into? This is about more than just nostalgia. It's about the economic future of our town." A murmur of discontent washed over the crowd. People shifted in their seats, voices blending into a gentle buzz. Fear was palpable, but so was hope. Lily could see it in the faces around her, the glimmer of passion that suggested they longed for connection. "Maybe a potluck is just the beginning," Sarah spoke up, the fire igniting in her spirit. "It's about coming together to rediscover what truly binds us. It's our stories. It's our identities. All these bits and pieces of who we are." "Exactly," Lily interjected. "And once we gather, people may realize that their voices matter. What if we hosted workshops or forums, sharing our ideas on growth along with our memories? What if we made this a truly collaborative process?" The chatter grew louder, as if their words called forth a long-dormant spirit. Some participants began to murmur in agreement, their faces lighting up with ideas. The weight of the moment shifted, pulling thread by thread at the fabric of their community. "Let us not dismiss what we have," a voice from the back spoke up, belonging to a teenager who had often felt sidelined. "If you lose the bakery, you lose the heart of our town. I don't want a place where there's no warmth, where I can't feel like I belong." Hope glistened in Lily's eyes. It fed her spirit, one beating as part of a larger whole. Each speaker, ignited by their stories, lit up the room further, painting a portrait of community. But the organizer, now visibly troubled by the shifting tide, cleared his throat. "We understand your sentiments, but the time for nostalgia is finite. We still need to finalize our plans today." His words acted like a cold splash of water. Lily felt the swell of dread rise again in her chest. Would they be unable to move forward with their plans? Or was this momentum enough to make a real difference? As the clock ticked closer to the end of the allotted time for open discussion, Lily took a deep breath, gathering the courage inside her. "We won't let you finalize anything without hearing us out. Not today." An electric silence fell over the room, each person hanging on her words. Sarah stood beside her, resolute and ready to keep pushing. What fights await us in the coming hours? Can they break through the barriers that stand between the past and future? Will they find a way to unite their community before it's too late? The questions loomed large as both friends held each other's gaze, ready for the next step forward. As the silence weighed down the room, every gaze turned inward, their breaths suspended like held notes in a melody waiting to break free. The air crackled with unuttered emotions and anticipation. Lily's heart drummed in her ears, each beat a reminder of what was at stake. "Please," she continued, her voice softening, "this bakery is more than just walls and flour. It's where we shared birthdays, anniversaries, and even our struggles. It's a reflection of us, a tapestry woven by every single person in this room. Look around. These aren't just faces. They're stories waiting to be told. A ripple of murmurs slid through the crowd, voices blending into a chorus of hope. The elderly woman nodded again, her determination shining bright. From the corner, the teenager who had spoken earlier raised his hand. Yep. We built this together. It's not just about revenue. It's about our community spirit. With each word, the tension seemed to dissolve. But the man in opposition remained unmoved. Nostalgia won't pay the bills, he replied. But there was less steel in his tone. Lily seized the moment. What if we could merge the old with the new? A bakery that also serves as a hub for our shared identity, where individuals can bring their talents, their crafts, their dreams? Sarah, energized by Lily's vision, called out, art classes, farmer-s markets, storytelling nights. We can pull everyone in. Let us make it a lively space. The crowd buzzed with life, people leaning toward each other, exchanging ideas. There was laughter now, genuine and infectious, as people rekindled their connections. Suddenly, it wasn't just a fight to save a building, but a movement to breathe new life into their community. Imagine a garden behind the bakery, where kids can play and learn to grow their own food, suggested a woman who had been quiet till now. We could host local artists, musicians, fill the space with joy. Lily beamed. It was all coming together, each idea adding a stroke to their canvas. The organizer looked at the man once more, appearing less certain of his ground. Is it too late to explore these options? He asked, testing the waters. There was a flicker of doubt in the man's eyes, but he recentered himself. You may want all these things, but city regulations can change, Sarah asserted. It starts with our voices, our commitment. If we stand united, we can guide this town's future. Hope surged through Lily, spreading like warm sunlight breaking through clouds. The atmosphere shifted again, and whispers of agreement rippled around the room. It was contagious, the collective vision felt unstoppable. Yet, just as light seemed to flood in, hesitation crept back. A few faces still wore worry, uncertainty etched deeply. What if it's not enough? Someone in the back murmured, barely above a whisper. Lily felt that doubt like a cold draft against her resolve. The stakes hadn't diminished. She looked around the room, sensing the fear and the hope coexisting. They were learning to unravel fear together. We can work on this together. Yes, there will be challenges, she stated, her voice steady. But we're not just fighting for a bakery. We're igniting a shared future. Don't you believe we're worth this fight together? The energy hung charged, waiting for a spark to ignite. Would they rally as one? Or would hesitation win out against their hope? An elderly hand shot up. I believe, came the call, shaking through the silence like a bell. The moment settled thickly. What would happen next? Would they unite and carve a new path for their community? Or would doubt continue to make its home in their hearts? The quiet that followed the elderly woman's declaration was palpable. Eyes darted around the room, seeking assurance in one another, flickers of courage igniting like tiny candles in the dark. Encouraged, Lily stepped forward, feeling a surge of warmth in her core. What if we take it a step further? She proposed. What if, in addition to what we've discussed, we invite the children to come and share what they envision for the bakery? Their dreams are pure and unfiltered. They hold the future in their tiny hands. A few nods penetrated the murmurings, and the teenager from before blurted. Yeah, they could even design the artwork for the space. We could paint the walls with their ideas. His enthusiasm rippled through the crowd, and for the first time that evening, the man in opposition shifted uncomfortably in his chair. Doesn't that sound like something worth pursuing? Lily encouraged, her voice bright and hopeful. A place where not only do we bake sweets, but where sentiment thrives, creativity flourishes, and laughter flows? A mother piped up, her voice shaking slightly. What if my son can learn how to bake the way his grandfather did? We could host family baking days, she suggested, her eyes glistening. Sharing stories and passing down traditions, her words hung in the air like a gentle promise, coaxing others to share their thoughts. A father from the back shouted, "And we can bring in local produce. Let us support our farmers. They are a part of this community too." And just like that, the murmurs grew louder, swirls of ideas steamrolling into one another until an unmistakable energy electrified the room. Lily watched as each face transformed. The elderly woman smiled widely, the teenager's eyes sparkled, and even the hesitant man began to take more interest. He listened, his skepticism slowly softening, as if he too were realizing that nostalgia might indeed be an anchor into something new. Emboldened by the shift in mood, a soft-spoken gentleman stood. "I could teach knitting classes, or maybe we could hold quilting bees. We can create beautiful things together, using this space not just for food but for celebration, for healing." The floodgates had opened, ideas poured out, and the air thickened with the scent of possibility. "What if we invite musicians for open mic nights? Let us make it a safe space for everyone." Another voice chimed in. Laughter, excitement, camaraderie, each emotion curled and twisted into the fabric of the room, blending hopes into a stunning tapestry of visions. But across the room, the man who had been their main opposition sat silently, the color draining from his face as he took it all in. "Could this really be possible? Will you join us?" Lily suddenly asked, catching him off guard. "This isn't just us versus you. This is our chance to revitalize something we all cherish." The weight of the crowd's gaze bore down on him, pressing him to choose. Silence stretched, thick with anticipation and the promise of transformation. He cleared his throat, searching for the right words, but in that moment, the fear of losing something precious confronted the stubbornness he had held onto for so long. Would he risk letting go of a past too dearly held to embrace the promise of a shared future? Hope hung in the air like the scent of fresh bread. But would it be enough? As the man contemplated his answer, Lily felt her heart race, all the possibilities swirling in her mind. If they could unite, it could be more than a bakery. It could be the heart of their community, a beacon of love and resilience. But just then, the door creaked open, and in walked a curious face, someone none of them expected. Who were they, and what might their arrival mean for the budding movement? Would they support their dreams or challenge them further? The newcomers stepped into the warm glow of the bakery's interior, instantly drawing the eyes of everyone in the room. A teenager, likely no older than 15, with a mop of wild curls and an outfit that looked like it had been borrowed from an art class, stood at the threshold. An uneasy smile tugged at her lips, revealing a hint of nerves beneath her cool facade. Hi, she began, her voice barely above a whisper, yet somehow managing to capture the room's attention. "I saw the lights on and heard voices. Is this a meeting about the bakery?" Lily's heart flipped. Here was someone new, someone who had come at just the right moment. "Yes," she exclaimed, stepping forward. "We're discussing plans for revitalizing this place. You're welcome to join us." The girl looked hesitant, glancing back at the door, and for a moment, the shadows of uncertainty loomed over her. But then she squared her shoulders and stepped inside, as if making a choice. "I'm Zoe." She introduced herself, her voice growing steadier. "I've been thinking about what this place could be. My grandma used to take me here when I was little." The bakery felt like magic. A wave of nostalgia swept through the crowd, faces softening at her words. Memories bubbled up like flour rising in a warm oven, connecting generations of laughter and indulgent treats shared within these walls. "What are your ideas, Zoe?" a kind-faced woman asked, leaning in as if to encourage the young girl. The girl's eyes lit with enthusiasm. "I don't know, but what if we hosted storytelling nights? We could have local authors come and read, or even kids sharing their own tales about dreams and growing up." Excited murmurs rippled through the crowd, and it seemed the universe had decided that this gathering was destined for greatness. As Zoe spoke, her voice swelled with confidence. "And I can draw," she added, her hands animated as she spoke. "We could have displays featuring young artists. Everyone has something to show, something to share." Lily felt a surge of joy. The idea of a community where different generations could come together to dream and create felt alive in Zoe's words. It was something more than just a bakery. It was a hub for imagination, a canvas where community spirit could be the primary ingredient. But then Lily's gaze flickered back to the man who had remained silent. His expression was a mixture of surprise and something akin to hope. She wondered if he could see the magic taking form, just like Zoe had. "Excuse me," he said, his voice breaking through the excitement. "What if we had a dedicated day each month for community service events? I've been meaning to help organize cleanups around town. Maybe we can combine it with a bake sale? For every cookie sold, we can donate to local charities." The room erupted into applause, and a shared laughter broke the hesitance that had once filled the space. With each idea shared and each voice lifted, walls began to crumble. There was a beauty in their collective creation, a patchwork of thoughts joined together like pieces of fabric stitched carefully into a quilt. Lily felt overwhelming pride swell within her. The vision they were crafting wasn't just hers anymore. It belonged to everyone, each person adding a unique stitch to make it stronger. Hope danced through the air, a warm embrace enveloping them. But just as the ideas flowed and charts of imagination took shape, the bakery door swung open again, this time ushering another figure, a woman with purposeful strides and an air of authority. Her sharp gaze scanned the room, and Lily felt a knot twist in her stomach. Who was she and what did she want? Could she bring a new challenge? Or was she the catalyst to something amazing? The energy shifted, and all eyes turned to her. Lily held her breath. What impact would this new arrival have on their dreams? The woman stepped forward, her presence commanding immediate attention. "Hello everyone," she stated, her voice steady. "I'm Margaret, the town planner. I couldn't help but overhear the discussion from outside." Lily's heart raced. This was someone who held power in her hands, the very hands that could decide the fate of their hopes. She could use her influence to support them or crush their dreams. Margaret surveyed the room, and Lily felt the weight of silence crash over them. "Your passion is palpable," she acknowledged, unexpected warmth softening her sharp tone. "I've seen many towns lose their roots when faced with growth. Yet you wish to blend old with new." Lily dared to take a step forward. "Margaret, we want to create a space that respects our history while embracing future possibilities. This bakery isn't just flour and sugar. It's where we've nurtured community ties." Margaret nodded, the corners of her lips curling into a faint smile. "I see it and I admire it. However, the city has its regulations, and I'm here to ensure that the development doesn't sidetrack your dreams." Murmurs rose in the crowd. This was the moment they had been waiting for, the chance to bridge the chasm of fear with hope. To kick off this vision, Margaret continued, "I could facilitate a meeting with the city council. If you display adequate support and ideas, I believe you could propose changes to the upcoming plans for the community center." A cheer erupted from the crowd, echoing with the magic of possibility. "Just let us know what is needed," someone called out, their excitement ringing through the air like a bell. Hope surged, swelling like the dough rising in Lily's bakery. "Count me in," Zoe's bright voice chimed, hands raised with enthusiasm. "We should have kids present their ideas too, what we want the future to look like." As Margaret listened, her eyes softened. Involving youth is a powerful move. You'll be surprised how many adults can change their minds when they connect with what the younger generation wants. Lily felt as if the room was bursting with light. Here was what they had dreamt of: unity, collaboration, hope. "Let us organize a community fair," Sarah suggested, her excitement bubbling beneath the surface. "We could collect stories, sketches, and dreams from everyone, building a collective vision board to present to the council. It'll show that we're a united front." Lily met Sarah's gaze, sensing a bond reigniting between them. They were together in this, truly united for a cause larger than themselves. The energy in the room was electric. Ideas swirled like confetti in the air, as everyone chimed in with ideas for the fair, proposing prizes, activities, and gatherings that would reignite passion and engagement throughout the community. With each proposal, Lily felt the subtle fracture between her and Sarah heal, weaving them back into the close friendship they once had. They were each other's support anchors in this whirlwind of creativity, reminding one another of their shared history. Brains buzzed with planning and organizing. Margaret took a step back, watching with admiration. My office will assist in event planning, guiding you through regulations, permits, and logistics. If you create the foundation of support from the community first, I truly believe we can make this happen. Tears stung at the corners of Lily's eyes, not of sadness but of pure joy. This was the moment when everything they fought for began to take shape. The bakery was more than bread and desserts. It was where lives fused together, where love and hope were baked into every loaf. Let us chart our stories, Lily announced, noticing hands reaching for papers and pens. Let us pour the essence of Maplewood into every detail. The room vibrated with enthusiasm, laughter mingling with the sweetness of dreams, shaping the community around them. Margaret joined in, guiding them through planning structures and procedures. As the meeting moved forward, they grew to feel the momentum of change surging like a wave, ready to break upon the shores of their community's future. The end of the evening, as the gathering shattered into laughter and excitement, Lily felt overwhelming gratitude. They were no longer just battling for a community center, but for every heart and soul that called Maplewood home. With Sarah beside her, peace settled in her heart, reshaping fears into dreams. Whatever challenges came next, they would tackle them together. They were the heartbeat of Maplewood, alive with stories, laughter, and love. Let us do this, Lily whispered to Sarah, a radiant smile spreading across her face. Together, as they stepped out of the community center, hand in hand, the sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden glow over their town. Hope lit the path ahead, filled with the possibilities of tomorrow. Now is the moment, dear friends. You need to subscribe now to our channel, so you won't miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like right now to feed the algorithm because it makes a difference. And please comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. Remember to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Join us as we continue this amazing journey together.